What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson, Clay Smith, and we are the Wash Bros. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 16. This is drop-in the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, so we want to hope everybody has a great Memorial Day and has time to enjoy with their families and all that stuff. So this episode, we were kind of talking about, all right, this is the transition weekend, pretty much into summertime. There's seasonal flows, ups and downs as far as the season goes. So with this, you guys probably notice like, okay, well, a holiday may hit, your leads may drop. Colleges and schools get out for the summertime, leads may drop, graduation, stuff like that. So the ebbs and flows of summer, and this kind of kicks off the start of the official summer season. So you want to kick this thing off, Clay?
Always great. First and foremost, as always, want to thank everybody listening all across the world, all across the country, all across the city of Greenville, upstate, even our guys in our market listening. We appreciate every one of you. Give us a follow, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook. Be sure to subscribe to all those channels. It helps us out a lot. So as Matt was saying, marketing through the seasons. It's very, 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 very important that you are consistent. That's my favorite word. Everybody knows that. Consistent with your marketing, consistent finding and researching your market, knowing what's going on around you, knowing when to raise those minimums, knowing where to lower those minimums a little bit to make sure that you stay busy. I know that me and Matt, we rarely ever mess with our minimums unless it's a colder season, which is it just makes sense to do that. But then you run into the holidays, you run into the graduation, you run out of the people getting out of school, you run into all of that, and that messes with the lead flow because the people are so busy. So what are we doing to make sure that we are staying busy through all of this, right? So one of the things I do is I actually just started doing it. Matt made taught me a little something in our CRM that we both use that he had been doing that I hadn't been doing, and that's why it's important to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with other people because they may be doing things that you are not doing, and you may be doing things that they're not doing that you can kind of say, hey, you can help me here, or hey, this is what I'm doing to keep the schedule filled. So one of the things I started doing this week was sending anniversary emails out to my customers. We have already landed almost $1,300, I think, in the last 3 days, just off of one little thing that Matt had been doing that I wasn't doing. So, Matt, you want to tell them a little bit about the automated emails?
Yeah, so if you guys are like us and use House Call Pro or use Jabber or use any other CRM program, we stress the importance of keeping email addresses, text message, phone numbers, stuff like that. So you probably heard EDDMs where people send postcards out. You can send postcards to your customer base, but what I find convenient and no cost to me, and it's automated, is through our CRM we can use we can pretty much set email sequences based upon how many days after a job's completed. So what I've been doing for the last 3 years plus is all the information I have in my CRM. Somebody did we did a pressure washing job for them last May 24th. May 24th of 2025, they're going to get an email that says, hey, thanks so much. Pretty much saying like, now that you know how clean your house can be, it's time to get back on the schedule again and have us clean it. And we get people consistently message us back and say, cool, I'm ready. Put me back on the schedule. It's not something where they're actively seeking it out, but they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I, I wasn't thinking about it, but he's right. I need to have my house cleaned since we did it this year or last year. And those customers that are your repeats, your regulars, it's really important to stay on them because otherwise they may forget about you. I mean, you could deliver the best quality service, you could ask for a review, they could give you a review, and then all of a sudden life gets in the way, they get busy, they forget about you. So you want to get ahead of things and message people. And what Clay and I do, we pretty much set our systems to automate follow-ups after every year, or you can set it up every 2 years, whatever you want to do. But I find we're getting like, so say with the 2 truck volume that we do, this time of year, we're doing between 3 to 4 jobs a day per truck. So that's 6 to 8 jobs kind of on a basic day. It may be more. So we have a backlog of 3 years of that. And so say if we're doing 6 to 8 jobs every day, every year in the busy season, and there's like 3 of those, that's like 24 emails that I can send out of people that we've done their house in the last so many years. And so based upon that, you're going to get probably 1 or 2 people here and there that says, "Hey, look, can you put me on the schedule? I'm ready to have it done again." And that's just farming your base. So if you've heard us talk about farming, it's great because they're great customers. A lot of times they already use you, they like you. They hadn't unsubscribed. That's positive because if you send emails and stuff like that and they unsubscribe, they probably aren't going to be a customer going forward. So they almost weed themselves out. Um, but yeah, we'll get, like Clay says, we'll get $1,000 here and there just from email follow-ups with people that I don't do, my CRM does. So if you guys have any questions on how to do that, make sure to leave a comment below and we can work you through it and set you guys up. And it's free money at that point. So one of those things, we talk about hunting and it's like, okay, Clay's got multiple trucks. He's working on his skid. He's got his employee. It then becomes like, how do I keep this full? Because 2 trucks, you eat up work really quickly. And this is a step of farming your base of people. Like we have 3,000 something customers that we farm, where it helps us keep our schedule full. And it's vital to do that. Otherwise, you're gonna lose business to somebody else. And I've even noticed, and I talked to Clay about this, like on my Google ads, I'm not even hitting my budget, meaning there's so much competition, the demand isn't quite there. So I could be putting $100 a day into Google, and on average, I'm spending like $30. So like there's a big delta if I'm just leaning on trying to hunt for new business. And like you could throw all the money in the world into hunting, but if you have a customer base of people that already have used you and they know, like, and trust you, just send them an email and you can keep the ball rolling with what you got. So that's something that I've done, and I was shocked that Clay wasn't doing it. I figured he had a system like that, but I think over time you'll realize, oh wow, like every year, like clockwork, the same people hit you up because you're sending them reminders.
Well, I think the coolest thing is I have been doing it, but the thing is, I was having to do it manually, and manually it takes a lot of time, and I don't know. I guess I didn't know the CRM enough to know that, hey, there was an option there to do that, right? I kind of talked about that a little bit, but the importance of farming, right? So the importance of farming your customers. You may do a customer's house this May, but they may want it done next August or next February. They may not be in the position financially, or the house just may not be dirty. They may not do it at the same time. So what I had ran into recently with Matt actually got one of my customers. So we were talking about a customer, and then I pulled the customer up in my system, and Matt got a customer because I didn't have a consistent farming technique, and I think that's very important to have that automated stuff.
And as Clay mentions, that him and I kind of do the same marketing strategy. So if somebody found him because they were on social media, they're on Google, or like word of mouth in one of these Facebook groups, and I just happened to be right time, right place in the same group because like we kind of are fishing in the same pond essentially. And that person's like, okay, cool. They either don't know that I'm not the guy they used last time, or they say, oh, I'll give this guy a shot because what resonated with me picking Clay is what he does. So I'm going to go with him this time. And like Clay says, if you kind of get ahead of them searching, it's like when we were in the car business, we had like a dirty 30 list, or like you call people before their lease is expired, because once they expire or they're close to getting expired, like they're probably already looking for something. You want to get ahead of that and like create a demand and sell them before they know what they want, and then you can control the situation. And that's what's helpful about farming customers like this. And like we use MailChimp as well. That's like a newsletters that we send out, but these are more targeted emails, like specific to the homeowner. It kind of has their name on it, whatever their details were in the CRM, pretty much directly to the point. Hey, we'd love to clean your house again. Reply to this email and we'll get you back on the schedule. And it's pretty simple, to the point. People can ignore it, they can delete it, they can mark it as spam, or a lot of times they just say, sure, what's your new price? And then you go from there.
Yep. And then another thing I want to talk about today was last minute customers. We all have last minute customers, especially during the holidays, during graduation, during 4th of July. That'll be coming up in another month or so. Birthday parties, pool parties, last minute customers. How are we handling last minute customers? So basically, what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking at my schedule, supply and demand, right? There's a price on everything. What's your time worth? Are you going to go out there and and clean a pool deck on a Sunday just because that's the only time you can fill it in. So that's another thing. So we have two trucks now, and we'll be able to utilize those. But what happens when those two trucks are full? So I mean, there's 100 other companies out there. Do you want to hire me or do you want to hire one of the other ones? Right. So I just, one of those things, I put a price on everything. Hey, we'll do it, but this is a convenience fee.
Exactly right. Know what your time's worth, because if somebody wants to, and I had this happen to me last week. It was like, as we're talking about, this is a Memorial Day episode, so usually people have last minute plans. They got the nice house, the pool, and then the wife drops something on them like Wednesday of that week with a couple days heads up. Hey man, like, could you fit me in the next few days? And yeah, I can fit you in, but like, if I'm gonna have to bump a spot, or if I'm gonna have to do it on a Saturday or kind of like off of our normal 9 to 5 schedule, it's gonna cost you. And a lot of times people are like, cool, just get it done. They're like, I'm trying to get off of a shit list, or I forgot about this. I need this squeezed in. They're more than happy to pay for something. So don't discount your service. And service doesn't necessarily mean how well you can clean a house. Your service can be how fast you can get to that job and like how fast you can serve them. So, like Clay's saying, when we have supply and demand, you get 2 weeks booked up. Don't say, "Oh, I'm so far backed up, I'm not taking on anything else." If somebody wants to work in, give them an option. Hey, I can charge you 20% more than a standard pricing to get you in. And again, to Clay's point, we're talking about what to do to like fill in the voids of a slower season. If somebody's if somebody's not worried about timing of something, put them in July, put them in a slower season. Say, hey, from April to June, we're going to be balls to the wall, but in July, around 4th of July, everybody's on vacation. Nobody's thinking about pressure washing. I can schedule you at this price on like July 5th when I know I'm not going to be as busy as I am now. And like, don't turn away work per se, just kind of work with people. Like, the objective we have is to fill up our schedule. Whether you have one truck, two trucks, three trucks, keeping that full to capacity, that's our objective. And just, you shouldn't be turning away work if it works for you.
Yeah, if you're turning away work, 9 times out of 10, it's time to grow.
And
And
that
that's kind of when I knew that I was getting close to growing. So we went ahead and took the leap. Once you get too close to maximizing and having to, on the edge of having to turn away work or you're working yourself to death, it's time to think about that. Time to start saving up, trying to think about the things that you need to grow. Or if you want to be that one man show, just raise your prices.
exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, because like, we are on podcasts with guys, we talk about guys, and then, hey, if you want to run a lean and mean operation and make a ton of money per job, that's great. But just understand the constraints you're going to have. You may have issues filling a schedule in the off season. You may have issues with total revenue of the year. Not every job we price is like maximum for profit. A lot of times it's just to keep moving, keep the trucks on the road, word of mouth. And then a few years down the road, you've established a legitimate business, and you can hire employees, you can do other things. Whereas if you're just trying to like charge really high prices and be the owner operator guy, you're not going to have enough work. You're not going to have enough kind of demand in that market where people are going to be like, oh, he's good, he's just high. Okay, that's fine. You can be the owner operator, but like, it boils down to the leads you get. So you can say, if I close 30% of the leads, well, if I have two trucks and I can do 100 jobs a month without killing my guys, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of jobs and leads that I would need to have if I'm closing 30%. So we do what we can to keep our trucks moving, and we have a $500 something average ticket, so it isn't like we are the cheap $99 guys. So don't if you guys hear like, hey, we're like 12 cents a square, 10 cents a square on certain things above a certain square footage, we're competitive, but we have minimums in place. So don't think, oh, we're like the $99 guys and like we're killing the market because we're not 20 cents a square. Because if you mark yourself 20 cents a square, you're going to have a hard time filling up trucks. You're going to have a hard time filling your own schedule up. And then you look at your total month and you say, okay, well, if Clay can do what he's doing at $40,000 a month by himself, he would need twice the leads or whatever to fill up his schedule if he was trying to charge 20 or 30 cents a square. And then you lose out on word of mouth as well, because people are like, hey, he's high.
Yeah, I mean, having two trucks now, there's no doubt in my mind we should find another 15 to 20 grand on revenue.
Easy.
So that's another cool thing. And yeah, going back to your guys' not going back to your guys, but back to what you was talking about on the 10 to 12% thing. What a lot of the guys don't understand, they hear that 10 to 12 cent, but we're not washing a 2,000 square foot house for $200, right? So, you got to have those minimums in place, $300 or $400 minimum, whatever that minimum may be, 250 minimum, wherever you're comfortable with having it. But we have minimums in place. We're at least making X amount of money. I'm not going to say what our minimum is. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's just important. You got to have it, and a lot of my customers understand that. I mean, I've went and cleaned a patio and a sidewalk just because that customer wanted me to do it for our minimum, which took me 20 minutes. So it's like, okay, cool, but they understood that's the cost of doing business, and that's what you got to explain to people. They'll think you're trying to rip them off, but you just tell them it's the cost of doing business.
Yes. Yeah, we're washing 800 square foot houses for $350. So I don't know the math on that, but it's more than 10 cents a square. Now, if you're at a 6,000 square foot house and you have a driveway, I'll give you a fair deal. I'm not going to charge you 20 cents a square for that because I'm not going to be making $1,000 and being in and out in 45 minutes. And I think like because we'll get people call us and the pricing in our area is completely all over the place. There'll be somebody sight unseen, a Google estimate, they're like it's $900, and then it'll be like a 2,500 square foot vinyl siding house that we'll do in 30 minutes. So I'm like, okay, well, our minimum service is this. We can bang it out in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm not going to tell the guy $900. Either somebody's really busy, they're backed up, and they're saying $900 because, like we were talking about earlier, I'm 3 weeks out. You're gonna have to pay for it if you want it now, or they just are clueless on their pricing. And if you're a new guy, you don't want to say I'm $900. I'm the high guy because if you're new, you don't have any value, and that's not an insult. That's just saying you don't know what you don't know at this point. Like Clay and I have both washed thousands and thousands and thousands of homes. We've had thousands of customers. We have hundreds and hundreds of Google reviews, and customers can sense that. Customers see it, and like we have proof. So like coming in and trying to be like really high price point, you're probably not going to close much because the value isn't built yet. Now, if you're 10 years in business and you have tens of thousands of customers and you're 20, 30 cents a square, you probably can do that because you have such a huge customer list. And again, like
Yeah.
we were saying, supply and demand.
Another thing is, I see a lot of guys coming in high as crap. I've talked to a lot of customers and they're telling me that the prices are all over the place. And they're like, it was a no brainer. You have over 300 Google reviews, you have a good reputation online, you treat your customers good, you do great work versus chucking a truck over here. He's trying to charge triple your price and he doesn't provide any value. So don't be the chuck in a truck. Try to build your brand, grow your customer base, get your clients, get 500 plus reviews on Google, make that a goal, get an online reputation, and then maybe you can raise the price. Maybe you can do those kind of prices. But until then, you're not really working with much. You're not providing any value other than, the customer trusting what you have to say, or maybe you're giving them a good sales pitch or something.
Exactly. And I find too, like the people that charge super high prices don't stay very busy. They don't have a lot of Google presence. And usually they're like in and out and they're gone. There's not a lot of consistency there because if you're just hitting people as high as you can, sure, probably 20% of those people aren't even going to ask for a second quote. They're just going to say, "All right, well that I don't know anything about this. You seem to know what you're talking about. I'll go with you." But especially if they're getting into the price game, like I've closed people that I know I'm not the cheapest. Clay and I say all the time, we don't want to be the cheapest. We want to be in the middle. And then we want to over deliver on value. And to Clay's point too, the objectives that him and I have is to grow a business with a good reputation, plenty of leads. And then as you get bigger and you hit that capacity, you say, okay, I have 2 trucks on the road. I have this much backlogged. Now it's time to raise my prices. Now it's time to take the customer list that I have and fine tune it and raise those ticket prices. People try to raise the ticket prices from the front end. They never build anything. Like we want to have the Google reviews, the reputation, the word of mouth, the service, because those people that have been with us when we're tickets $500, they're going to stay with us when it's $900 because they see the value in us, as opposed to missing out on all these people because, oh, we just gouged this guy. And I mean, we make plenty of money. Break it down how much you're making an hour, how much you're making a day, how much you're making a week and a month. I promise you, if you're trying to be the highest, most expensive guy, you're probably not making $10,000 a month. Like, unless you are a very, very established business, it's not a flex to say, this is how much we charge. Because I guarantee you, like, our weekly revenues exceed that because we stay busy.
It's definitely all a numbers game. You got to have structure. I truly believe in that. You got to break it down. I want to charge this much. I want to make this much an hour. So that means I got to do this many jobs. Just a normal cookie cutter home. I mean, it takes me 30, 45 minutes, $300 in and out, boom, now on to the next. I've done as many as 6 houses in a day. It's all about working hard too. You're going to have to get up and stop being a little bit lazy and get out there and knock them out a little bit. I leave at 6:30 in the morning. That's about to change now that we got two trucks. But I was leaving at 6:30 in the morning, and I get home at 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's all about just working a little harder than what you have been. It's not about the freedom if you want to be successful in the long run. You got to
It's
work hard now to get to where you want to get to.
exactly right. You look at somebody and they're established and they're like, oh, he works a 9 to 5 or he's an office guy. Well, he's probably put in 5 years of, as Clay's describing, like sun up to sundown work, working around the clock, trying to do what's right for the customer, build his reputation in the community, and then find a guy who has the similar values, put him in place. And then that sun up to sundown, that wake up at 6 a.m., be done at 7 p.m., washing until the sun sets, that turns into more of a 9 to 5 schedule if he's running that truck. And then he's like, oh, cool. Like, I bought myself time again. And then say you replace yourself there, and then you can be doing estimates, you can be your own sales guy. Like, you're opening yourself up to far more than just kind of trying to hustle harder. Because like, once you get your other guy rocking and rolling, you're gonna be putting up some nuts numbers and you're gonna be like, dang, I'm making a lot of money. And then you're also providing a good opportunity and a good job for somebody else, which to me is almost as fun as making money myself.
Yeah, I think one of the best things I heard at a huge convention not too long ago is create jobs for other people. So that's been my main goal. Let's create more jobs.
Yep. And again, like, the value that customers who've been my customers for a long time, I've been running a truck a little bit here and there for customers that I want, or higher ticket jobs. And then they always ask me, they're like, you still got a couple trucks on the road? I'm like, yep, I just came to see you. And like, I'll visit older customers, but they talk about, they're not like, oh, I'm glad you showed up because I don't trust your other guys. They're like, hey, it's good for you that you have a couple guys on the road, like you have multiple trucks. Like, they view you differently than if it's, like you said, a truck on the truck or the owner operator. Again, nothing wrong with that, but there's levels to the game, and you find that customers kind of give you more respect and credibility if you're running a true business with multiple people involved.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome. It's something I've noticed in the previous years with having a helper, and this year actually hiring somebody full time, letting them come out. You can definitely tell the customers treat you a little differently. They treat your guys a little differently. I mean, Caden's first day, you got $140 in tips, so made him feel good, made me feel good that I gave him the proper training and made him do what he needed to do. Gave him the right script, talk to the customer, make sure the customer's happy before they leave, provide them with good customer service. At the end of the day, if your guy's not doing something right, it's probably something that you didn't teach them, something that you didn't tell them about, and something that you know. I always feel like as a boss, like even in my previous jobs, if my guys failed, it was all back. It all falls back on you, and just make sure you're taking care of your guys, teaching them properly, and making sure they're providing your customers with good customer service. If you got a crew out there.
Yep, because they're how you treat your employees, they're going to treat your customers the same way. If you're a dickhead to your employees, the customer or your employee is going to be a dickhead to the customers. Like, the expression from corporate America I had was like, hey, shit runs downhill. So like, the boss man at the top's yelling at your management's yelling at you, and then you're down here, low level employee, you're going to get all the brunt of it. It all started at the top. So if you can be a great leader and then your employee is similarly minded, then just like, be flexible with the guy, be human. They're going to be the same way towards the customer. So when a customer is asking something, instead of them saying, sorry, no, my boss didn't say that, they're going to give that extra value and attention to the customer. And they're going to say, wow, this guy was great. He did this extra little thing for free. And the shared values is huge there with employees, because at that point you're duplicating yourself. Like, my guys can wash the same quality I can. I mean, heck, my main guy Ryan can probably wash better than me because I've been off the truck for like a year or so, and he's over here banging jobs out quicker than I do. So don't let the fear of like, oh, I'm nobody's going to be able to do it as good as me nonsense get in the way. Like, you get a good guy, make sure that his kind of character and morals are similar to yours, and like the energy of your business, and usually it's just a win-win situation.
100%. Totally agree with everything you just said.
But yeah, I mean it's fun too because you can start to zoom out and it's more of the long run. It's not that hustle. Because I know like when I was just having to do everything myself, it's like you're sprinting and then the season slows down and then it's like feast and famine. But when you have employees, you can kind of keep the ball rolling and have more of like a farther vision forward. So you can look into, like Clay says, into the next season. How am I positioning myself for like the fall season right now? How am I getting ready for the winter? How am I getting ready for this or next year? And whether that be like buying skids, finding the right employees, like figuring out your brand messaging, like it's hard to do that when you're doing all the work yourself. So like when you step out, you can say, okay, for the next 3 months, I'm going to figure out like what's my approach to like stay busy in the winter. And by doing that, you're unlocking yourself and you're going to be successful and grow year over year versus these guys who kind of are on a hamster wheel. And or like say you want to like spend time with your kids. You can do that and then your business rolls forward. And then I look at like the harder I was pushing in business, I wasn't growing any faster than I'm growing now, having my employees do a lot of the work and not working as physically hard as I was. So it's like your business will naturally carry itself forward. When you have guys in place, like you don't have to work as hard. And that's the beauty of it. And then you find out that you get more word of mouth, you get better reviews, people like it, and then you're growing a business without having to do everything yourself. So it's cool. It's cool to get the ball rolling with things.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. Kind of looking forward to seeing where our business takes us. It's already looking good, looking promising, and I'm excited. We'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, we're right around that 7 o'clock mark, Clay. So you got any closing statements? I know it's a holiday. We're trying to get this thing released for all you guys and get back to our families and enjoy Memorial Day.
Yeah, just going to close it as always. Just make sure you're following all of our pages. My personal page, Clay Smith, Matt's personal page, Matthew Jackson on Facebook and all other social media platforms. Follow me on TikTok, the Pressure Wash Guru. You can see a lot of the stuff that I have on there, also all the content I've made. I haven't been taking it too serious lately because I've been a little busy with work. Hopefully, I can get back on that soon. Make sure you follow the Wash Bros podcast page on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and all the other platforms. We have the Wash Bros private group on Facebook. Make sure you go follow that. And we should be working on some merch here soon. So that's it for me. I don't have anything else. Matt, just go ahead and close it.
Yep, pretty straightforward. We're working on developing like the powerwashingcoach.com. I getting into some web design stuff, so I'll be like redesigning everything, making it simple, easy to use, kind of modeling my website. So if you guys have any marketing questions, make sure to reach out to us. And if you guys are aware, I have like a brand up your business page, which is also like kind of marketing tips and tricks. What I use to like grow Matt the Driveway Guy. I'm trying to like throw everything in there. But yeah, check us out. Go to our pages. All of the links will be cross posted in there. Powerwashingcoach.com. We're gonna probably have 3 sections on that thing. So we're gonna have like course free content. Pretty much, if you listen to the podcast, you have a good idea. But we'll give you like SOPs, more details. Try to build that thing up, and we'll probably have some merch too. I've been split testing different things on merch and print on demand services, but just keep plugging along, guys. Listen to the podcast, and I know I got the book on Amazon. You can find a link to that at powerwashingcoach.com. And that's everything we got for this week. We will see you guys on the next one.
Peace out, guys.
See you guys.